Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Official Visit podcast. Tyson Alger here, joined by Andrew Greif and our guest Devon Allen. It's our first time we've had a guy on the podcast 2 times, so we can officially call him a friend of the podcast. Thanks for coming back, Devon.
Yeah,
I'm glad we didn't tick you off enough the first time we did this. So
no, it's always a good time.
First time you were just a young, fresh-faced hurdler.
Yep.
No one really knew a whole lot about you.
Freshman, yep.
Now you've been around the world literally a couple times.
Yep.
Take us through just the football part. I've been fascinated by the difference of track shape and football shape. Because people are like, is he going to be in shape? Yeah, you're going to be in shape.
Yeah.
You ran at the Olympics. But is there are you sore in different spots?
Yeah, that's really the biggest thing is you're using muscles that you're not used to using, especially with me just running straight and hurdling.
Right.
So like my groin and hip flexors from cutting, my feet, my ankles, my calf muscles from all that were pretty sore the first couple of weeks of practice. But like I said, as you get into shape, your muscles start to get used to it and you don't really feel sore anymore. And then obviously the tempo of our offense calls for some kind of conditioning, which I was in pretty good condition before, but now I'm even better condition. So I think as the year goes, I'm just going to get better and better at conditioning and feel better.
Yeah. Because, you're conditioned to go 13 points, however many seconds.
Exactly.
But there's a difference between going like these 4 or 5 second bursts on each play. Is that even a difference?
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely it's a different kind of exercise, so it definitely plays a factor into the heart rate and the lungs and stuff like that. For me, like I'll get my heart rate up for a race, to run a fast race, and then I chill out for 3 hours, then I run again. Yeah. In football, you go 5 seconds hard, jog back to the line, you're still breathing hard. You run another play, 5 seconds, jog back to the line, you're still breathing hard. So it's it keeps your heart rate up the whole time, even the whole game. So yeah.
what's your optimal track weight versus football weight?
Optimal track weight, I'd probably say I've never really gotten there, but like 180 would be perfect, I feel like. I usually, like my lightest this year was like 183, 184. And then football weight, I'm about 190 right now. So.
And never getting there, is that just because it was a hard number to get to, or is it because you're trying to shed some of that football? Like, do you have to have both?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It just takes some time, I guess. I feel like decent enough at 183, 184 that, I don't really worry about it too much. I know, depending on the training, it really changes my body type, even though my weight doesn't change too much. In track, my legs get a little bit bigger, and obviously my upper body kind of slims down, and my arms get a little bit smaller because I'm not lifting as much. But in football, I try to put some upper body strength back on so I can run around, and try to cut down on the fat because I actually got a friend, Bradley Atkins. He's a high jumper at Texas Tech. He was at the Olympics with me. He said, "Fat don't fly." So that stuck with me. I'm trying to get my diet down to a T, so I can, really be in good shape and be like the best athlete I can possible.
Yeah,
that's what I've been telling people when I'm at the gym too. It's just real efficient.
What are you training for?
Yeah,
just writing 800 words every Saturday.
Yeah. My fingers are flying. Yeah.
For people who don't know, Devon was 5th at the Olympics in the 110-meter hurdles. So you're talking about training. To go from football to track and now Rio, I think you've probably spent more time around Jim Radcliff, Oregon's strength and conditioning coach, more than his wife this year, arguably. What's that guy? How close you guys, and is there a side of him that you see that even a guy who's, around him a lot playing football really doesn't quite get to?
Definitely.
Because we don't see a whole lot. People know the stories about Rad, but he doesn't open himself up.
He doesn't do interviews. He doesn't.
Yeah. I think with Coach Rad, he's a great person, first and foremost. And like you said, I've been around him the whole year. Football, track. I pretty much see him every day, whether I'm doing a football workout or I'm doing relay practice, and he's our relay coach. So I'm over there with him. And then, like you said, the summer I was lifting, with him throughout the summer because he was watching my workouts, kind of tailored them towards me and towards Rio. And then when I was up in Rio, he was there for 5 or 6 days helping me train and do all that stuff. So, yeah, me and him are definitely really close. I know that he loves Will Ferrell and all his movies and stuff like that. So we always try to, me and my coach, Jamie Cook, and Coach Rad, and a lot of the guys that train with us, I like to quote like Will Ferrell, like Step Brothers and the other guys and stuff like that. But so Coach Rad definitely has a sense of humor, but he's definitely a serious guy. He tries to get it done in the weight room, make sure we get everything we need to get done, and yeah.
That was going to be my next question was, have you ever seen Coach Rad cut loose? Because I knew him a little bit when I was here, but he's so when he's on duty, he's on duty. He's working, he's lifting, he's stretching, he's lifting more than most athletes still. So there's a fun side that I know is there, but I've never really seen.
Yeah, he definitely likes to have fun and likes to joke around. He kind of does that a little bit more around the track side of it. Because football, we're in practice, we're doing something. Track is a little bit more downtime, especially at the meets.
Right.
So, we kind of just hang out, chit-chat, joke around. And then when it's time to run, that's when we get serious. So, but yeah, he definitely has a, fun, sarcastic side for sure.
What are, obviously you're putting aside time for football, but, like, what are the guys who finished 1 through 4 in the hurdles doing, like, right now while you're doing football? Like, are they still constant? Are they running professionally? Like,
yeah.
Obviously they're running professionally, but
I think pretty much the track season is over. Maybe there's 1 or 2 meets left. But yeah, so those guys are going to be running in Diamond League meets in the European circuit. But yeah, those guys are pretty much done. Usually the season gets over in about September.
I guess essentially what I was trying to ask is, are you putting yourself at a disadvantage by playing football when the other guys are doing that completely year-round?
I don't think so. I think I've been doing it for so long that I can go back and forth pretty well, and I've kind of showed that. Obviously, it would have been a great story if I would have won the gold medal.
Right.
But you gotta show up and compete on that day. And so there's a lot of great athletes all over the world, especially in the hurdles. Yeah. There's a lot of fast guys. So it really just comes down to being technically sound. And I think those guys definitely have a little bit of advantage just training wise, because they can get a lot more technique work. Me being a kind of a new hurdler, I started hurdling in high school, so I've been hurdling for 4 or 5 years, and obviously technique's a big part of what we do. And I think I could definitely be more technical. I make a lot of mistakes, especially at the end of races, which you can kind of see if I start to hit hurdles and stuff like that. I'm not as clean. And the races that I do have clean races all the way through, that's when I run really fast, like my 13:03, 13:1,
right.
All those times. I've been really clean. So I think with time, not necessarily just training wise, maybe just even if I could during football season just do some technique stuff,
right?
The same. But I think it doesn't really put me at a disadvantage. I think I just I'm still young, I still have a lot to learn.
Yeah. I remember right after reading after the final, reading your quotes, and obviously you were saying like 5th in the world. I'll take it every time.
Yeah.
Ever since that kind of initial euphoria kind of fell by the wayside, have you gone back and watched it all? And are you like, dang, if I don't hit that, or do you even let yourself go back there?
Yeah, I actually haven't watched the race yet. So, and it's really a couple of reasons, because it's hard to find it, because NBC has the rights to it for a while, right? So you can't put it up on YouTube or anything like that, so I really can't find any YouTube videos. And then all the videos I did see like were just clips of it on Snapchat.
Right.
And you have to think everybody wants to get the start, so the race being 13 seconds, it usually cuts out right before the end. But yeah, I think I just made a few mistakes at the end, kind of pressed too hard, and I was trying to run too fast. It's a big meet, and you want to do well, and just kind of got stumbled up at the end and didn't finish the way I wanted to. But I definitely, like you said, it was a good experience, and I think I got 4 more years to fix it for the next Olympics.
And you know McLeod pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Jamaican gold medalist. How'd that relationship start?
We met in college. He was hurdling. He's a pretty new hurdler too. I think he started hurdling in high school as well.
Is he at Arkansas?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Young guy. Me and him are the youngest two in the field. He's 22. I'm 21. And yeah, he's he won his Civilized last year, indoors and out, broke the indoor record, and then obviously this year he had a great season with the 60 World Championship and the Olympic medal. So he trains in Arkansas, and my coach is good friends with his coach, and they chit chat all the time. And I'll text him and talk to him every once in a while. Yeah. So we have a good friendship. It'll be cool to keep running against him. It'll be a good hurdle battle. He definitely is a fast guy too. He ran 9:99 and the 100.
Right.
So we'll see. Hopefully in the next couple of years I can get my 100 time down there into the 9s, so we could, if there's no hurdle races at a meet, we can run the 100 and race each other. That'd be cool.
What is all out 100? For you?
My fastest, I ran a 10:3 in March, like early season, outdoor season.
If they were to put you on the track in mid-July, right? Was your tapering for Rio?
Yeah, I think I definitely would have run 10 low. It really depends on my start. I think 10-1 is really realistic. If I had a good start, maybe 10 flat, 9-9 for sure. But definitely 10-1.
Do you have any guys in practice that try to outrace you and be like, "Oh, I'm going as fast as the Olympian here"?
No, not usually. Charles likes to joke around all the time. He is quick. Him and Taj and Tony are the guys that can really run, and obviously Kirk Merritt when he was here. So yeah, we definitely have speed on the field. There's no lack of speed on our team for sure.
So, I mean, at this point, you're 21 and you've played in a college football national title game. You've had your national success and now your international appearances.
Mm-hmm.
So, your eyes are wide open to this stuff. Was there any part of the Olympics that was legitimately like kind of surreal? Like, wow, was it an opening ceremonies thing?
Yeah,
Was it? I don't know.
That was cool. Yeah, opening and closing ceremonies. I didn't realize how many people were going to actually be there.
For those as long as they feel on TV.
Yeah, they were so long, but there was like 100,000 people in the stands.
Wow,
it was insane. And then, like you said, just being able to compete with those guys. When I started hurdling, those were, guys that were. I started hurdling maybe 2011. I want to say like the year before that, the London Olympics.
Sure. Yeah.
So 2011 or 2010, and so that's when Aries Merritt and David Oliver and Jason Richardson and Lou Zhang was still running, and Dayron Robles and the Spanish Orlando Ortega and those guys were all competing really well. I was like, well, I want to be like that.
Right.
So then getting a run against those guys is kind of cool for sure.
I imagine now you're kind of like accepted into like an international, almost like a fraternity of hurdlers. Mm-hmm. That's got to be kind of a cool thing. Like if you wanted to talk to, I know you're friends with Aries Merritt. Like I'm sure you could hit him up and he'd hit you right back. And 5 years ago, that would have seemed mind blowing.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the hurdlers. Even though it's a cutthroat competition, especially in the U.S., because we have so many good guys, really friendly. I made really good friends with Jeff Porter and Ronnie Ashwells in Rio, so that's awesome just to, get to know those guys. And I think it's like a passing of the guard, because the hurdlers, the elite hurdlers that were down in the U.S. are getting a little bit older, and on the tail end of their careers, and so there's a few new guys coming in, kind of taking over, I think.
So, kind of piggybacking off of like his question about like an eye-opening experience or whatnot, is there anything in college football that can surprise you now that you for instance, you guys are playing in Lincoln this week? That's a fairly large stadium. Like, you'll be close to 100,000 at that game. Like, is that just going to be kind of a?
I don't think so. Like you said, we played in a national championship, played in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
Can't really get much bigger than that. Maybe like the Bristol.
That would have been sweet.
Yeah, that game would have been insane. But
the press box was like a half mile away. Exactly. It looked like from the field.
Yeah. So I think with that, it's really just just kind of being calm. And now that I've done it, there's no big deal. It's just executing what I do in practice every day and kind of just having fun.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Saturday was your first touchdown in 2 years?
Yeah.
What's different about Dakota Prukop throwing you the ball versus like Marcus? Like what's different about the offense now than it was 2 years ago?
Obviously Marcus had big shoes to fill with being such a great athlete. He was pretty much unstoppable in all aspects, running, passing, play calling, and stuff like that. So with Dakota kind of stepping in, he's a really smart kid that can pass the ball well, and he's a great athlete as well. You saw him run the ball a little bit. So I think it's kind of comparable, and he's still kind of getting into the flow of things here at Oregon. And I think as the season goes on, he'll feel more comfortable and more confident with his calls, and he'll make the right decisions, and then we'll kind of flow with it. You could definitely tell last game he was feeling a lot more comfortable because he was just letting the ball rip, to some guys. So that's a good thing to know because, we're out there to make plays too. So I think the more chances we have to make big plays, the more chance we have to win. And obviously, protect the ball as well doing that.
I know last year's been talked about a lot in terms of just coming back from your injury and just maybe not being as large of a part of the offense because you're coming back. But was that frustrating, hard, or whatever to go from a pretty pivotal point or focal point of the offense 2 years ago to kind of just in terms of the filling of the stat sheet? There wasn't much of that last season.
Yeah, it was just a little. It was just a little frustrating just because I wanted to play, really well, and I just wasn't moving around doing the same things that I was doing the year before. My confidence in my knee just wasn't there really 100%. So, and as the season went on, I kind of realized that, and I was like, hey, I'll do what I can. Maybe that means not playing as much and playing special teams or, doing or blocking or something like that. So, and that's kind of how it went, and, I stayed healthy and had a good season, and then it went on to be healthy for the track season, and so I made it to the Olympics, which was one of my goals. And then coming back to this season, I feel great. I'm in good shape, probably the best shape I've been in, and just feels good to be back, doing what I've been doing and running around and be able to do those things without having to think about it.
Dakota said you guys had picked up a lot of kind of chemistry from watching anime.
Mm-hmm.
That's I heard that.
Yeah.
You guys are brothers in arms in that way.
Yeah, no, I was like hanging out before the hanging out at Johnny Munn's house where Dakota lives, and Cameron and all those guys, they all live over there, and we were just watching like cartoons, anime cartoons, and then I started hanging out more. We'd watch it, and like the night before the trials, Dakota gave me this movie to watch, and I was like, okay, I'll watch it. And I ran well. I was like, wow, I gotta keep doing this. So like, even up in Rio, Dakota bought me 2 DVDs, and I like took them to my room, and I was watching them before I went to bed, before I raced, just to kind of relax myself. And
so was there ever like a level of like, who the hell is this Texas kid who loves anime?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of just it's interesting. Growing up, I used to read a lot, so I definitely read a lot of comic books and anime books that you read right to left, backwards and that kind of stuff. And so it was just cool that we were like, oh, well, I enjoy that too. And so we had something in common right away, pretty much before I was even doing football. We were just hanging out, so it was cool.
Is that your new pregame routine for football too? Is that if it worked? Are you like superstitious like that?
No, not really. I used to watch Talladega Nights before every like big competition like game. But now me and Charles are roommates in the hotel, and so we just watch a movie.
Changes.
Yeah, changes,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, we watched like Now You See Me like last week, then we watched Neighbors this past weekend and stuff like that. So.
What's your like pantheon of Will Ferrell movies?
Ooh, probably number one is
because I feel like after
Step
Talladega
Brothers,
Nights, it went down until Step Brothers came back.
Yeah, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights. The other guys are definitely up there.
Really?
See, I always think he's better as a role player.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's best in old school.
Old school,
Wedding
Zoolander.
Crashers for like 15 glorious minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a funny guy, and yeah, so I enjoy Talladega Nights just because it's so like out there.
Yeah.
Me and Jonathan Cabral were actually because we were right next to each other in the right in the blocks in the final. We're gonna do the shake and bake.
Oh Jesus!
We're gonna like shake hands like this, and we're gonna because like they put the camera on you so you can see you for a little bit, and then it kind of slides over to me, so we're gonna like shake and bake at the same time. But we said, all right, next Olympics, not this one, next one.
How many cameras are like actually just like in your face when you're at the Olympics? Like it just seems like, what was that like in London when the guy on the Segway like ran over Bolt?
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of cameras like after the race is over. There's cameras taking pictures of Omar and all the guys.
Right.
So there's definitely a lot of cameras out there.
Do you get to choose your roommates on the road for Oregon, not USOC, but for Oregon?
Usually. Yeah, they usually assign roommates, but you can just request someone. So that's what me and Chuck did at the beginning of the season.
Why'd you like him so much?
Just because we get along. We get along really well. I get along with all the guys, but I just me and Charles hang out. And then my roommate for all the bowl games is always Cameron Hunt. So we always have a good time.
I remember him saying that before the final at the trials that you told him and Johnny, whoever else was there, like
Johnny,
I'm gonna jump into the stands.
Yeah, because they told me, they're like, yeah, we got tickets to the thing, and like section U is that section right. on the fence. Like, yeah, we're sitting right up there, and so like I walked into the stadium and I saw them really close to the edge. I was like, okay. So then I was like, I jumped in the stands, and it was cool because they were the first ones to run over there. So I saw Cam and Johnny, and then I was looking for my parents because I didn't know exactly where they were sitting. They were somewhere up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool.
So you didn't know that they were going to be right there, your parents, because they were right on that railing too.
Yeah, I didn't know where they were. I was just looking for them because I knew my mom and sister.
Just earned him brownie points that it made it look like that he went straight to his parents.
Yeah, no, I was looking up the stands, but then Cam and Johnny were like, hey, your parents are over here. Go find it. Yeah,
So had you... I mean, it was kind of a hike to get up on that railing. Like, had you practiced that before?
No.
Like, no other coaches were there?
If you failed that's going all over.
I had, like, seen, and, like, there's, like, a 6-inch gap between the fence on the track and the gate on the thing. So I was like, I could clear that easily. So I just jumped up and cut a foot on there and then hopped over. But, yeah, I would have been kind of bad if I got hurt. But good thing I didn't.
Yeah.
So
that's why you're a good athlete.
You've already talked about this, and I'm not so much interested in. Oh my God, Devon did the hurdles in the end zone after doing the touchdown. But are you at the point now where you know okay, I know if I do this, like people are going to talk about it because I'm the Olympic guy who does the hurdles, and it's my first game.
Yeah,
like,
I thought it'd be just something funny. Yeah, because I remember last year Odell Beckham did that in the end zone. It was kind of funny because his mom was a hurdler, and so I figured, hey, I'm an actual hurdler, and I was in the Olympics for the hurdles. I could do it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was just a funny thing to do. Kind of just symbolizing that I'm back, playing football.
It probably wouldn't have surprised you that like it was on like ESPN like 15 minutes later.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Is that weird that like if you do something notable, it'll be on SportsCenter by the time you get home? Is that a weird level of fame to grow to? Because we talked about this with a lot of players.
I feel like being on the podcast is a pretty big
yeah.
We did
step up.
Give him his first brush in the spotlight in 2014.
We made him.
Yeah. We talk about a lot of guys like talk about the awkwardness of recruiting when people all of a sudden thousands of strangers are like trying to weigh in on your decision, but like you're at a wholly different level of attention. So is that something you're still getting used to, or is it?
Yeah, definitely. It kind of blew up with the whole Olympic thing for sure.
Yeah.
And it's cool. Eugene's a small city, so it's not too crazy.
Right.
Small town, so it's not really insane. But the fans, they do love their Oregon Ducks. So, just being around the fans is insane. There's a lot of people that just, love everything about Oregon football, track, all the sports. But yeah, it's definitely, I'm starting to get used to it a little bit. I'm getting better at it.
Yeah.
Are your parents used to it?
Yeah, I think they like it. My dad always meets people on planes. My mom always meets people on planes that they're like flying to Eugene. Like, oh yeah, my son plays. Like, who's your son? They're like Devon. They're like, oh no way. That's pretty cool. Like this, that.
Olympian.
Yeah. So So they have a good time with that. I always meet fans that say, yeah, I met your mom someplace in Washington. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Small world.
The Olympic schedule is so funny for track guys because it's at the very end for your events. And you have to stay disciplined. It's your first Olympics. You don't feel like you have a whole lot of margin. Did you get to go out and see anything else at all? Or were you just like, I can't screw this up. It's the first time I've been here. I've been working so long. I don't want to go watch beach volleyball at like a 9 p.m. tip-off. I don't know. Did you be able to get out at all?
Yeah, definitely. I went to a lot of events before I competed. Like you said, I went to beach volleyball. I went to basketball, handball, badminton,
handball was
swimming.
Awesome.
I went to cycling, like in the velodrome.
Right.
So I got to see those events. And then after I competed, I went with my family to like the Christ the Redeemer and the Sugarloaf Mountains and all that stuff. Got to see like pretty much the touristy part of Rio, and then got to hang out with other athletes that were done competing in the village and go out and enjoy Rio pretty much.
Who are the athletes in the village that like no matter who they like, no matter like what athlete you are, everyone kind of stops and goes like, oh man, there they are. Like
I saw a lot. So like the USA basketball players didn't stay in the village; they stayed on a cruise ship. But I saw a lot of just like NBA players that fit different countries. So I saw like Tony Parker and Leandro Barbosa. And it was crazy because I was sitting down eating lunch, probably like 2 chairs over. I didn't see his face, but he was wearing Brazil stuff. And Tony Parker comes and walks over and talks to him. So he's like staying like 5 feet from me. I'm like, oh, that's Tony Parker. That's sick. But then he turned around. It was Leandro Barbosa. I'm like, holy crap. That's awesome. But like, because, being from Phoenix, he was at the Suns for a long time.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's insane. I'm like 4 feet from these guys. Like, that's insane.
Did you say hi to him?
No.
Were you like, you had a big influence on my childhood? The 7 seconds or less Suns had a large impact on my childhood.
No. That's funny. No, yeah, I think it was just really cool. I saw Usain Bolt a couple times in the cafeteria, and yeah, I think just being able to see like a whole bunch of athletes that like you recognize beforehand, and like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Who creates more buzz in the village, Bolt or Phelps?
Probably Bolt. Yeah. Even though Phelps is up there, Phelps would definitely had a posse around him. Whenever I saw him, he had like a lot of people hanging out.
He's rolling deep.
Yeah, rolling deep. But a lot of athletes were really cool. I made friends with some divers, some fencers while I was out there, and that's pretty cool. You meet a whole bunch of different athletes, no matter what sport.
Right.
And kind of get to hang out with them.
Was there any country that just is always known as like those people are generally going to be fun people to hang out with?
The party country.
Yeah.
Yeah. We hung out with Great Britain.
Yeah.
Oh, I just found, there's like a lot of parties the last couple of days of the
No
Olympics.
gas stations, right?
No gas stations.
Okay.
A lot of parties the last couple of days, and I think, I really felt comfortable. Like Great Britain, Australia and stuff like that because the language barrier is not really there. Even though a lot of people, like everybody I talked to pretty much spoke English,
right,
or at least a little bit. But I just felt more comfortable, like, hey, like, Britain, Canada, stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So we'll get you out on this. You have to miss some school in a couple weeks. Are you missing practicing? First of all, tell us where you're going, and you have to miss practice again.
Yeah, I'm going to D.C. I think I'm going to miss one practice.
Maybe getting a reputation.
Maybe a walkthrough. I think, because I'm going to Washington D.C. to meet the president. The whole Olympic team gets to go up there to visit the White House, which is awesome. I've never been, so I'm excited, stoked. I think if we would have won the national championship, we would have been invited to the White House. So hopefully I can get invited to the White House 2 times this year. I'm going in a couple weeks. I think the 29th is the visit. So
How surprised would you be if Obama was like, "Hey, you're the football player hurdler"?
That would be sick. Yeah, I hope you recognize me. That'd be awesome. If I can get a picture, they said not to bring your phones or anything like that. So maybe I can get like a photo person.
You're not allowed to bring your phone.
I don't know. It's like the security there is going to be real intense. So I don't want to break any rules. I don't want to end up on CNN or something like that.
Fame for a different reason.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for being the second guest.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
We'd like to thank Devon Allen for joining us for the second time. But if you're still here, which you should be because Devon was great, we have a little bit of extra reader questions. So, Andrew, what do you got for us?
So this is from Twitter user Johnny Walker 4. Said, "What's your opinion of the defensive line after 2 games? Who is excelling there? Who is not?" Well, I really didn't think they should have given up 193 rushing yards to Virginia. Virginia really struggled against Richmond the week prior. Maybe that's a really tough bar to set because that's maybe a once-in-a-season type of bad performance rushing the ball for Virginia.
Especially in that first quarter.
Yeah.
I think it was like 82 yards in the first quarter.
But, yeah, I thought against Oregon they split them out with the stances, and maybe that's just something you're always going to get against up-tempo offenses regardless. Otherwise, you might get hurt more not fitting the stances. But it's been underwhelming. Even a little more so than I expected. I didn't think it was going to be no one expected it to be a easy transition to the 4-3, but I think you're seeing that some of the depth you need 2 good defensive tackles to run a 4-3, and Rex Manu's been pretty good. Austin Malawata,
he's been a little iffy.
Yeah, didn't play as much second game. They went to Drayton Carlberg, the freshman, who seems to play well. Helfrich had good things to say about him. Gus Cumberlander. So
you also got to take into account there too. And granted, by the time AJ Hutchins came out, plenty of rushing yards had been accumulated by now. But the Ducks were playing down Johnny Reagan. AJ Hutchins did get hurt, so essentially you had one starter who was a true freshman there at linebacker in the second half. And
Trotting Prevost also gone obviously with the suspension. So it's I didn't expect great things early on, but I thought they should have been better against Virginia, which didn't put up much of a fight against Richmond the week prior. And of course, I think the huge question over everybody is what's up with Canton Kamatule. It's interesting, they didn't make him available a couple weeks ago, maybe last week for interviews. So
he played a couple snaps on Saturday.
He did, yeah. I think that it's just more of a learning thing. It was injuries year 1. He likes the scheme much, much better because the 4-3 is what he played in high school.
He just seems like such a fit in there, and so I think it's understandable why people are wondering why he's not out there. Because this guy's 6'7", 300 pounds or what? I mean, he just seems like a prototypical inside lineman that could stop the run. So
whenever we've asked what the disconnect is, it seems like it's injuries or the playbook. And year 2, you would expect the playbook, even though it's a new one, to maybe be a little less of a concern, but. It's something we should definitely circle back to at some point.
Right. Next question.
So, any idea why Cameron Hunt is having discipline issues? No.
No idea.
No idea. I don't know. I didn't talk to him today. That's from Federico Cool, Freddie Harb on Twitter. I don't know. Maybe he's overcompensating for a young line.
That's what my guess was going to be.
Maybe he's sticking up for dudes. Maybe he sees other guys getting picked on, so he's trying to set a tone. I don't know, but it's something that's probably worth asking. What is a surprise? Taj has not been used much at X-back. Go ahead.
You mind if I jump in first? I'm just honestly a little bit surprised at how little Taj has played so far. I know this is something that granted, Oregon is loaded at running back, and I think Tony Brooks-James has looked exceptional so far, very fast. But Taj just seems like one of those players when the ball's in his hands that things happen. So I've completely understood when people are tweeting at. That's probably the thing I've been tweeted at the most during games is where's Taj at? Where's Taj at?
Yeah.
And, I know I had asked a little bit. I think it was the Lubick a couple of weeks ago about Taj potentially playing slot and some of those things that we kind of talked about in the spring, and essentially they just said Taj isn't a great slot receiver. He doesn't have the best hands in the world. He's very electric on the ground, but he's not your prototypical can put anywhere on the field type of back.
Yeah, might just be the answer why is maybe just Occam's razor. He's not quite the receiver that he needs to be to stay on the field for long stretches, and it's loaded at running back with guys who are comparable talents.
I think that's always kind of the funny thing of all the things that should be getting tweeted at us during games is like the one position where there's legitimately not a single problem is running back. So Taj is electric, but they got others too.
All right, so this is the last thing. We're taping this on Monday. Kevin Kuzelka asked this for me a couple times. What projected first game day starters are questionable or out for this weekend? Well, I can tell you who walked out of practice today in various shapes. So Johnny Munt, right leg, still walking very stiffly.
Very stiffly.
He was kind of had a little bit of a grimace.
When he walked out, he had the brace off. It was in his hands, but he was icing, and I would. If I were to be a betting man, I would say Johnny Munt's not playing this week.
Sure.
Evan Bayless did, however, suit up last week, so
he did. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a plus.
With Johnny Reagan, he came out holding his shoulder pads and a helmet today, which would suggest he played.
AJ Hoskins was in a boot
on his right foot in a red jersey.
By the way, he just bulky dude.
Yeah.
When he walks out, like thick.
You can see why him and Tyson Coleman were buds. I think they worked out together.
Right.
I think that's about it for people I saw walk out today that I kind of specifically had questions for. Don Pelham was asked about Hodgkins and Reagan, wasn't he?
Yeah. He Pelham kind of gave a relatively safe answer of we feel like our backups are ready if need be, and we'll find out.
Right. And then with
Crosby looks fine.
Yeah, Steve McGarrett said that they wanted, if the lead allowed them, to pull him out, rest him. It's his first game back against Virginia. And they just didn't want to play him 76 snaps like they did. So that was the plan they wanted to see happen, was to pull him relatively early in the second quarter, get his foot a little bit of rest and not so much pressure going into Nebraska.
I think you're healthy going into this week.
I'm a little sleep deprived.
Yep, a little bit.
What about you?
What time did you get to bed Sunday morning?
I filed my story at 3 in the morning.
I got to my house in Portland at about 4:02. Which was a little, yeah.
It took 3 hours to get home?
Well, what? So we had to drop you off.
Right.
And then we carpooled, so I had to drop another reporter off, and then I live up in North Portland, so.
I see.
Pro tip, if you ever get on the Ducks beat or in any sense and you live in Portland, those 7:30 kickoffs, have a driving partner, because I-5 is very straight and very long at 2 in the morning.
Yeah. Hey, it's Nebraska week. We're going to be out there on Friday. Pretty excited about this matchup. As always, we're going to have a ton of coverage on our website, OregonLive.com/Ducks.
Yeah, we'll probably do some sort of like Facebook Live on Saturday from the stadium before the game.
Yeah.
And it should be. I'm excited. I always love the first road trip of the year, and especially like last year when the first road trip is a big game. Michigan State last year.
Yeah.
I'm fairly confident in saying that my hotel situation is going to be much improved from when I was in West Lansing last year behind a Buffalo Wild Wings in the middle of nowhere. So I won't be afraid of getting stabbed this year.
That's always a positive development.
Yeah.
But if Tyson is stabbed, he'll probably live tweet it at Tyson Alger on Twitter. I'm at Andrew Greif. And and this is a bad segue into saying thanks for listening. If you want to leave us a review, we always take those seriously. We appreciate any star ratings you have.
And if you feel like you haven't been stabbed through your ears, 5 stars wouldn't be a terrible thing.
Thank you for listening to the official visit.
Bye. We're 35 minutes.